The new Home Secretary Suella Braverman has slammed the failures of the Home Office and the former Home Sec Priti Patel. This time, she plans to fully ban all illegal migrant entries. Right, before we get way too excited over this, because we have seen and heard a lot of good rhetoric in the past, we always say, I'll believe it when I see it. But Suella Braverman as Home Secretary has been impressive enough because she's been more honest and more transparent already compared to her predecessor, Priti Patel, and the rest of the Home Office cabal and the civil servants. The good thing about what's happening here with Suella is she's come out to be honest about her own party and her own government, the failures are pretty. She's also come out to be honest about how I'm not going to make empty promises. I'm not going to give over promises. She said, I've got certain plans, but some of them will take some time. Some of them, when it comes to one of the issues is we're going to get into it in people smugglers and the issue of international law, because she's got everything on the table, all options, including ECHR and including essentially bending the international law, not in that sense, obviously, but in terms of understanding that some of this stuff is quite outdated and we can actually just completely override them. Let's just talk about what's happening with the UN Refugee Convention, all this nonsense. And she's come out to say, well, we basically have to let the channel migrants know that they are going to be facing a ban. So the one thing that we hadn't done until now, which was we were scared of the French and the European judges, was when people come in illegally, we still, on a bureaucratic level, we still have to start the process of the applications and then reject them. And then they could appeal and it gets complicated. She plans to basically make a new law to say, well, you come in illegally, you break the law, by default you're a criminal, so by default your application will be rejected. So anybody who comes in, rejected. That's kind of the idea. But of course, until now, it's been very difficult because of the convention and the international law that we have. So things could change. But again, she has said, if we're going to make things work, anything from the Rwanda scheme, we have to make sure that actually works. Otherwise, what's the point? You're wasting money. She's also said that we have to also do work with others to clamp down on the business of these organized criminals, the people smugglers, who are making so much money, actually more than drug lords now at this point, on a regular basis. And this is causing a lot of trouble. Now, she doesn't really mind offending people. She doesn't really mind going against the consensus and the establishment and the lefties. She said that, well, I'm proud of being British. I'm proud of our history. And the left are attacking our values.
It's very easy to say that the culture wars are a distraction. But make no mistake, the left are attacking our profound, elemental values, wanting to replace them with the poison of identity politics.
This is the first time we've had a mainstream conservative politician going on stage and publicly say that this whole nonsense is poisonous.
This poison seeps into the public sphere. It distracts our public servants from doing their real job. That philosophy dominates the Labour Party, whatever Sir Keir Starmer pretends.
And then she decided to take on the whole woke Home Office and the woke police force.
It's not only wrong for the police to take the knee, it is wrong for them to join in with political demonstrations. It is wrong for biologically male police officers to strip search female suspects. And it's not just that pandering to identity politics is a huge waste of time. They need to stick to catching the bad guys.
Now, what I was very pleased about was even the crowd, who, young and old, part of the mainstream Tory party, were very much on the same side. Well, I was waiting, when I was watching that speech, waiting for the big moment to see if Suella Braverman would bring up the situation with the grooming gangs and all the situations from Telford to all the places that we've always dealt with, Luton and all the places. And she did.
Now, those who dismiss political correctness as a conservative obsession, I say this. I say visit Rochdale, visit Telford. The grooming gang scandal is a stain on this country, and it's what happens when political correctness becomes more important than criminal justice. More PCs, less PC.
Absolutely spot on. Finally we have an actual mainstream politician saying it. Finally, we're going to have potentially a Home Secretary who's going to be on top of the issue. But as I said, while I praise everything she said, let's be more patient because we don't want to get let down again. I'll believe it when I see it, obviously. I do have faith. I do have a bit more optimism in me when it comes to Suella. And if it doesn't work, I can assure you most of it will be the fault of number 10 Downing Street and the top civil servants at places like the Home Office. Not to make excuses for Suella as the Home Secretary, but it's still her responsibility, and if it doesn't work, it's still her fault. She has to take responsibility. But at the same time, I think she's, in terms of the current system and the current parties that we have, if someone like Suella can't do it, no one else can. Because the majority of the politicians are not really on our side anymore. And if one of them at least has the intention to do it and still fails, then we're in for a big trouble. So this was all the updates for you guys for now. If something happens later today, we're going to come to you guys with some breaking news live streams as well. So subscribe to the channel. Thanks for all the support. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.